In an old alley of the city, there stood an abandoned cinema called Cinema of Shadows. For years, it had ceased operation after a series of mysterious incidents where several visitors disappeared without explanation. It was rumored that anyone who entered would never emerge again. Driven by curiosity, a group of friends decided to explore this enigmatic place. As the sun set, the friends gathered in front of the dilapidated wooden door. They gently pushed it open, and it creaked ominously. Upon entering, their eyes were met with utter darkness, and the smell of mildew hung heavily in the air. They heard strange sounds echoing through the space, as if trapped souls were calling out for help. They settled into the dusty old seats, and suddenly the screen flickered to life, displaying an old film about a ghost named Laila, who had been brutally murdered years earlier. The story revolved around a girl seeking revenge on her killer, and the film's events escalated terrifyingly. As they watched, the murmurs grew louder, repeating in their ears, "Help me. Get me out." They realized these voices were not part of the film. They belonged to spirits trapped in the cinema. Determined to uncover the truth, the friends decided to explore the backstage area. In the control room, they found old footage showing horrifying events from the past, including clips of people who had vanished in the cinema. A wave of dread washed over them, but their curiosity compelled them to continue. They entered a dark room, and the doors slammed shut behind them, with sounds drawing near, and a faint light flickering beneath one of the doors. Suddenly, the ghost of Laila appeared before them, her eyes glimmering in the darkness. She looked both sorrowful and angry, telling them that the cinema was trapped by a curse that could only be broken by confronting her killer. The friends began to search for the source of the curse, discovering that every film shown in the cinema was part of a horrific story, and they had to reenact the events to break the curse. They returned to the auditorium and started watching the film again, but this time they interacted with the events. The choices they made resulted in changes to the storyline, increasing the tension. In one pivotal decision, they confronted the killer, who embodied their worst nightmares. He laughed loudly, making their hearts race. They realized they were not just spectators, but part of the story itself. As they attempted to save Laila, fear of losing one another began to creep in. The experience tested their friendship and heightened their anxiety about the story's conclusion. Suddenly, the electricity cut out, plunging the cinema into complete darkness. Yet, Laila remained with them, urging them to continue facing their fears. Using an old projector, the friends found a way to return to the time of the original film. They found themselves in the world where Laila existed, trapped in that dark past. In this realm, they discovered that not all spirits were malevolent, but they faced vengeful ghosts eager for retribution, plunging them deeper into a real nightmare. The friends faced a final challenge against the killer. They used their wits, but he possessed unnatural powers, stalking them at every turn. After a harrowing battle, they managed to defeat him, but not without a cost. They lost one friend who was lured into the shadows. The remaining friends awoke in the cinema, but something felt amiss. The place was quiet, yet they sensed an unseen presence watching them. Their perspectives on life had changed after this ordeal. Though they returned to reality, the memory of their lost friend haunted them. They couldn't forget what had transpired. They decided to reopen Cinema of Shadows, but soon realized something mysterious still surrounded the place. The spirits remained present, and feelings of dread returned. As they prepared for their first film screening, they heard faint whispers echoing through the cinema. But this time, it was the voice of their lost friend calling their names. They understood that the curse had not been broken, and that Cinema of Shadows was not merely a location, but a gateway to a dark world of spirits, where they might become part of the eternal story of trapped souls. As the lights flickered ominously, they realized they had opened a door that could not be closed, and their return to the cinema might be the beginning of the end.